Welcome back to another episode of the Hardcore Casual with your boy, Bass the Kid. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an associate, an enemy, and anyone in between. I appreciate all the views, all the shares, all the likes, comments, and everything else. It's going to be a bit of a quiet week because there's not a huge amount happening. So, with that kind of being said, there's a couple little stories that have come up over the last sort of day or two. I just want to give a quick take on some of those, and yeah, I guess keep it moving from there. Like I said, it's not really going to be a long video, not going to be anything in depth, so we'll just kind of see how it goes and how every segment moves. But without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I guess the first thing to kind of speak about, if you guys are aware, there was some kind of quote-unquote doctor that called into one of those US shows and said that he believed that Errol Spence Jr. is suffering from, some onset delayed trauma as a result of the car accident or something, some neurological issues. Now, funny enough, I actually just heard some information, not sure if it's true, but that this guy, while he is some kind of doctor or physician, it's nothing to do with neurosurgery or like neurological. It's like he's some kind of steroid doctor or something along those lines, whereby he kind of treats people who I guess have physical conditions, maybe obviously need steroids to help induce them into certain levels of comfortability or whatnot. So that might be a window as to how he could see a certain glassy look or a certain visual that he picked up in the fight, him and his wife. I don't know how true it is. Look, ultimately it is very true. Errol Spence could be suffering some form of delayed neurological or degenerative situation, suffering the car accident. That's quite feasible. The guy could also just have been trying to get his 5 minutes of fame. I think he did state on there that he was actually Errol Spence fan, so could have just been trying to promote some kind of excuse or reasoning, a rationale as to why he was just not able to do anything in the ring Saturday gone. Not sure, not really going to pass judgment on it, but I just wanted to kind of put that out there, see if anyone else has heard anything. If you have, put it in the chat, let me know. If you've got any further details, please let us know on that one. Sticking with the fight on the weekend, so earlier on today, there's rough reports coming out that the gate for the actual fight itself did somewhere in the region of about I think it's like $21.8 million, which I think they said it's the 6th highest gate at either T-Mobile or in Vegas history. I think it's the 5th was actually Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia from earlier on in the year. Now, if that's the case, congrats to them. A lot of those tickets were severely overpriced, and it's funny because on the week going up to the event, even though obviously some of the tickets got sold, a lot of those tickets, from what I heard, was like they weren't being sold in the upper bowl and other places, sort of like towards the top end of the arena. And I remember, I'm not sure exactly where Tony was sitting, but I know that I think he purchased his ticket for like $2,000, and I saw tickets from his same section on the night of the fight, or a couple hours before, being sold at like I think it was about 500. So basically they got slashed. It was like a quarter of the price. So I guess maybe they got enough people to purchase the original ones, which from a few people that I heard were severely overpriced to begin with. But I guess the hype got to some people. But congrats to them, because they've made that money, or the gate made that money. And apparently the whole event itself be pulling in somewhere in the region of about $50 million altogether. So yeah, we'll wait to see for the wait to see for the pay-per-view buys, because that's the last metric I have to find out whether or not I've either made another £100 or lost £100 on a bet that I made with one of the guys in the group chat. I won't mention the name just yet. Let's wait for the confirmation, and then obviously if he wins, he can get his shout out. If he loses, he's definitely gonna get his shout out. But we'll see what happens there. Okay, so Devin Haney has lost his request to keep hold of his lightweight WBC title while he goes up to 140 pounds to face Regis Prograis. The WBC have now made him champion in recess. I guess technically it could also be a champion emeritus, although I think emeritus is only what they give you when you retire. But yeah, champion in recess at the moment, which is normally reserved for someone that is injured and can't compete. But I guess I guess you say, well, he's ineligible to fight at the moment. So I guess that's how they kind of word it and structure it. So yeah, he has the right to, at any time, if he wants to, come back down to 135 and face whomever holds the belt, and it will be at a 50-50 split, because he is the I guess the lineal and the rightful champion at the time. But now it looks like you got Shakur Stevenson, who is the mandatory contender, and Vasily Lomachenko is the number one ranked within the WBC. I still don't understand how they do that. I mean, I remember they had Deontay Wilder ranked at number one after losing 2 back-to-back title fights, and then he was still at number one even after that. Then beat Robert Helenius and still ended up being number one. So I don't know how they get away with that, or how they justify that, because ultimately, well, then how does anyone 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, move up the rankings to become the number one mandatory opponent? But either way, so you've got those two together, and if Vasily Lomachenko doesn't take the fight, then I think the next person in line is Isaac Cruz, and then I think Frank Martin is after him in the rankings. So either way, I guess there's three decent fights that can be made. We'll see if Vasily Lomachenko takes that fight. Something tells me that he won't, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, either way, so Devin Haney no longer the official 135 champ, which technically now means that he's no longer undisputed at 135. Chantel Cameron versus Katie Taylor 2 has officially been announced for November. It's going to be going back to Dublin, Ireland, back to the 3 Arena, so it's not a stadium fight or anything like that. I guess they're really going to save the stadium for if they can get Amanda Serrano or one of those bigger names, I suppose, over in Ireland for that fight. But it looks like it's going to be 140 again. So Chantel didn't get her request to fight for Katie's belts at 135. I've still maintained the fight itself would be a lot better if the fight is held at 135 with both sets of titles on the line. They can do it. It's very easy for them to do that. I feel like it's a little bit of a cop out, in the sense that, okay, you are going up in weight, but the person you're going up in weight again can make the weight that you are champion at. So even though you've suffered a loss, you still haven't lost anything. It's like a free swing, and you come back down to be undisputed if you lose. And if you win, then you're double undisputed, and you can pick and choose where you want to fight. I just think, personally, you lost the first fight, run it back at your weight class, but then just have the stipulation that all the belts go on the line, my belts and your belts, and that way it's it's fair, because you can you're bringing her to your neck of the woods. She's getting her opportunity there. Yeah, she gets to fight you again, but she gains nothing at this point. For her, it's everything to lose and now nothing to gain. She already, whatever little pop that Chantel Cameron would have had from beating you the first time, she won't get that again. If she beats you again, it'll just be, oh well, she's just too big, too strong, and that's just what it is. But ultimately, she's just keeping her belts. There's nothing there that allows her or gives her any further impetus or some sort of further will to train harder to make it a much better event. But it is what it is. It's been signed, I guess. It's been sealed. I guess it shows that sometimes even when you beat the A side, you still can't make moves on the A side. At best, I think maybe she's got a bit more money from this new situation, and if that's the case, hey, good on her. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yesterday, you had Clarissa Shields put out some kind of post. I think it was on Twitter or it was on IG, where basically she was saying that she's now training to have a fight with Keith Thurman. And basically, she believes she could beat him. She could whoop him in the ring. She probably said she could knock him out as well. I know she likes to use that phrase there. And I was looking at it, and shout out. This was brought to my attention by Ring IQ, so shout out to Julius for that. But I just look at it sometimes, and the first thing I think to myself is, and you wonder why you can't get any further, and why people don't like you, and why you don't get the quote-unquote accolades that you feel you deserve. And it's, a lot of the time it's actually justified, but you literally come out and do things that are just nasty. Because ultimately, look, let's be real. All right, her saying, yeah, I can whoop this man, I can beat the brakes off of him, XYZ. Well, what's he supposed to say to that? What's he gonna say? Oh, all right, then come get in the ring, and I guarantee I'll whoop you, I'll break your jaw. Like, he can't say anything back to her, because a man threatening a woman, or a man offering to punch up a woman in the ring or whatever, it's not ever going to be tolerated. So it's like she's picking on quote unquote low hanging fruit. And the thing is, with someone like Keith Thurman, I think the only reason that's probably even being allowed to happen is because he's not, I guess, the media darling at the moment. No one really likes him because he's in his division. He's a bit washed at the minute. He's fought like once in the last 4 years, or 2 times in the last 5 years, give or take. And he's inactive, sort of almost hanging on the coattails of Spence and Crawford. Don't want to see Boots or anyone like that. So he doesn't have a big a big goodwill profile behind him. But then for you to just be like causing issues at this point, talking smack to guys that realistically no one would accept them talking smack back, or it would never happen. Even I think Dimitri Salita was asked, what is there any truth, or is there any possibilities of that special exhibition fight happening between Clarissa Shields and Keith Thurman? And he said absolutely not. Like, ultimately it can't happen. And also, like, you compete at 154, 160, 168, like those. He competes at 147, so you're also trying to quote unquote pick on this smaller guy. Although, even though I'm guessing he walks around probably at the same weight you do, if not more. But ultimately, look, physiologically, like build-wise, natural genetics, hormonal, he is going to beat the brakes off of you if you really got into that kind of situation. And I don't even like talking about these kind of things, because men on women violence and other way around, like, I don't agree with. But that being said, it's like, if you invite this kind of energy to yourself, you can't then be mad now if something happens to you, because that's the energy you put out into the universe. Oh, I can beat this man, I can beat that man. Okay, so ultimately all it means then is if one of those guys comes back at you and does what they're supposed to do technically when it comes to, I guess, the hierarchy of physicality, can't complain. So stick to being the GOAT of the 154, the 160, the 168 divisions. Keep cleaning up your side of the boxing world, and just leave talking shit to men alone, because that's not gonna, number one, it's not gonna endear you to anyone, and number two, it's just a form of bullying, because it's like picking on someone that can't do anything back, or can't retaliate, or can't defend themselves in any way that's gonna make them seem respectable. Yeah, it's just a bad look. It's not something I like to see, and yeah, she needs to sort shit out, because that's not cool whatsoever. So it's been officially announced that Joshua Buatsi will fight Dan Azeez on October the 21st at the O2 Arena. So it's Nigeria versus Ghana. Well, technically it's Ghana versus Nigeria, because Buatsi is Ghanaian, Dan Azeez is Nigerian. One's from the Blue Borough, one is from Lewisham, and the other one is from Croydon. So they are not that far apart from each other, about 20-minute drive, if that. It's going to be a very interesting night. I will definitely be in attendance, whether I am there via media accreditation, which probably I won't be. If you know, you know. But I will definitely be there. Prior to that, I'll buy tickets anyway. I'm going to see who's on it, who's going to buy tickets. I know several of my boys, know one or the other. And in that sense, I know that they will be there. Get a couple of my girls together as well and see if they want to go down. I know a lot of the great defeaters are going to be in the place. This is definitely like London's clash right about now, especially South London. I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of the crowd is pro Azeez. Would not shock me at all, especially as obviously is a lot closer to his neck of the woods than obviously Buatsi. He has obviously a lot of the media backing, but Azeez seems to have that grassroots support coming from him just taking a lot of harder fights for his level that he was previously, and just being a lot more active, so people get to see him regularly, so they know they get to see the journey, the trajectory that he's been on. Whereas Buatsi, you've kind of just seen like a bits and pieces here and there. And then in his very last fight, which was obviously the Paul Stepien fight back in May, it was a very sort of lackluster performance to a lot of people. So yeah, I can see the momentum is definitely with Dan Azeez at the moment, and I can see a lot of the fanfare being behind him on the night as well. That being said, it's a great fight. Like I said, I 100% will be there, no matter whether I'm paying or not. And even if I am paying, if I got accreditation, I'll probably still buy a ticket and maybe just give it to someone to go and sit with the rest of the peeps. But yeah, I will obviously cover that a bit more in the future. I will give my takes and predictions as we get closer to. I might put in a call to both guys, see if I can get either of them to come on the channel and have a chat. Or possibly even, well, we'll see whatever happens. I know one or two of them may be calling into the Undefeated podcast at some point, Monday Night Smoke. I'm sure one of them, probably Dan, will get a call this Monday coming, and yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what transpires there, but I'm really interested, really ready to roll with that one. But yeah, things are picking up at the moment, so we'll keep it moving. But with that being said, I'm going to keep this one short, as I said. So thank you very much for watching. Several videos, several topics just to sort of give your take on. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much. And as always, thank you. Make sure you like, subscribe, join the memberships if you choose to. But for right now, it's the Hardcore Casual out.